Thousands of you watched as City Grill shooting suspect Riccardo McCray told his side of the story to News 4's Rich Newberg. But did you believe him? That's the question. Rich joins us now to let us know what experts thought about what he said.
Well, Leah, it is certainly not for us to even speculate about the innocence or guilt of Riccardo McCray. That verdict is up to the criminal justice system. But how might the voluntary surrender here at News 4, which was viewed by the public, play out when this case goes to trial? When 23-year-old Riccardo McCray was brought to me at News 4 last week by Darnell Jackson and Bishop Perry Davis, the first thing he did was to lift his shirt to show me he wasn't carrying a weapon and that his body was free of any noticeable wounds. The entire voluntary surrender and interview of McCray were viewed by former U.S. Attorney and State Attorney General Dennis Vacco from a prosecutor's point of view and defense attorney Terry Connors.
You know what's going on there with the display of his body and everything. And in the event that there were to be any bruises or injuries subsequent to that surrender, it could be used to indicate there was some coercion if there were statements that were taken at the time. So that's what he's marking it, making a record of it now.
During my interview with McCray, he told me he wasn't the shooter.
You didn't do it? You say you didn't do it? Do you know who did?
If I know who did, I would come forward and tell y'all who did it, because that's a hurtful feeling.
He also told me he didn't know police were looking for him until 3 days before he decided to surrender. He told me he did not leave Buffalo for the Carolinas.
No, I never went to South Carolina. Well, what money to go to South Carolina? What car?
As prosecutors build their case, they will look for any possible inconsistencies in McCray's statements.
It's a treasure trove. I think it's enormously important for prosecutors. I think it's enormously important for a lot of different aspects of their case. You actually have the words of the accused himself, and not only do you have the words, but even better yet for a potential jury here is his person, his persona. You get a chance to take a measure of him as he's speaking. So
it's probably not regarded by the defense as a treasure trove. It's probably regarded as more of a series of landmines that have to be avoided.
When I interviewed Riccardo McCray, he was a person of interest in connection with the shootings outside the City Grill. He has now been indicted by an Erie County grand jury and charged with all 8 shootings, including 4 homicides.
And you certainly did cover a lot of ground during that interview with McCray.
Leah, he offered a lot of information about where he was at the time of the shootings, say he had gotten low to the ground when the bullets started flying. He also said he thought there was more than one shooter. We don't know the results of ballistics tests, but these are all statements that could come into play before a jury.
All right, thank you very much. A story we'll certainly continue to follow for you. Thank you, Rich.